on a movie.
It's on a movie that's what's going on here.
Just taking a movie now?
Yeah. Say something.
This is Jason Crigler, a 34-year-old guitarist living in New York City.
So I'm sending this message to myself 20 years from now. Right now it's 2004. June 30th, 2004. This is a direct message to me 20 years from now. So June 30th, 2024. I want you, meaning me, to receive this.
Who loves you, Jason?
I love everyone.
But who loves you?
Who loves me? I don't know, maybe some of these people around me.
35 days later, on a warm August evening, Jason's world stopped spinning.
So the night it happened, that was my first night out in a long time because I had such intense morning sickness. I probably hadn't been out in a couple of months. And I really wanted to go see Jason play with Sandy. Sandy had wanted me to sing, but I didn't feel up to it, so I sat at the bar watching.
And I think we were in the first or second tune of the set. And I remember we were just playing. I was looking out at the audience mostly and over at Sandy, but I looked over at Jay at one point because I noticed he was moving around a lot. And he, first thing I noticed is he kind of held his hand up to his face.
It was really crowded, and there was some confusion on stage, but we were sitting really far back, so it was hard to tell what exactly was going on. And I saw Jason, he didn't really fall over, but he kind of bent down, and then he was just gone.
I looked over my shoulder, and he was knelt down and sort of fussing with his pedals. And he had stopped playing, and he looked very, very confused. And so I thought he just had an equipment failure, a sound issue. And the band continued, but there was, you could almost feel there was this sense of just...
Then next time I looked over, he had put his guitar down and he was just rushing straight off the stage. I knew that Monica was in the audience, and she was at that point 2 or 3 months pregnant. And all I could think of was that someone was messing around with Monica.
The first thing that jumped into my mind is, oh my God, he's going to yell at the sound man. He must be really pissed. But instead, he didn't go past me to the sound man. He came directly to me, and he was saying, Mon, I need help, I need help. I just went outside with him. We went to get some air, and once we got around the sidewalk area, he couldn't really stand up, so he sort of gently got down on the ground and laid down, and I called an ambulance right away. While we were waiting for them, he kept saying that he couldn't hear and that I sounded so far away. And he said, Mon, what's wrong with me? Am I ever going to play again?
It was about 10 o'clock at night, and I got a call from Monica saying that she was in an ambulance with Jason. They were headed for St. Vincent's, and would I come down there and meet her? So I dropped everything and got into a cab and got down there. I don't remember going into the emergency room, but obviously I did, and Jason was complaining of a terrible, terrible headache.
And Monica and my mom, when I got to the entrance, they both draped their arms around me and they were sobbing, and I thought he had died. And so I said to them, is he dead?
I remember when I got to the hospital, everyone was very nervous and very tense. Monica was there, Carol was there, Margie was there, and there was a lot of concern and a lot of hugging and a lot of, waiting.
I don't know if it was maybe 5 in the morning when the doctor in charge of Jason that night came out and said that there had been a bleed in the brain, that they had done a ventriculostomy to relieve the pressure, and that it didn't look good. And they didn't know if he would live, and if he did, he really didn't know what would be left of the Jason we know.
They told us that the bleeding in the brain was quite severe and that Jason had very little brain function left.
We did have a doctor come out and basically give us the worst case scenario in terms of saying he didn't think Jason was gonna, it was quite possible that Jason wouldn't make it, that is, wouldn't live. And that, I lost it. That's when I just broke down completely.
I remember immediately that Lynn started crying, and I wanted to stop him from crying, and my response was to say no out loud, to stop this thing that was happening, the events that were happening.
Up until then, I was like keeping it together. But at that, I really lost it. Because somebody is saying either your brother is either going to die or he's going to be a vegetable.
And I remember feeling like everything completely stopped. I forgot all about the pregnancy. I think I left my body or something. And just, I remember thinking, this cannot be true. I cannot go on without Jason.
Jason grew up in an apartment in Manhattan with his father, a musical director, his mother, a teacher, and his little sister. And there, Jason began to build a life. Birthday parties, Central Park, first days of school, report cards, comic books, record players, roller skating, homework, school plays, new glasses, growth spurts, infatuations, parents' divorce, guitar lessons, euphoria, practice, frustration, competition, commencement, exploration, and at last, love, softness, elation, marriage, complexity, responsibility, introspection, work, art, money, expression, self-doubt, subways, nightlife, friends, touring, recording, pregnancy, anticipation, anxiety, meditation.
I could tell from the beginning that there was something in my mind that was tuning out, that was like not paying attention. You know, I think I just was really frightened. So I started keeping records of what was going on. August 5th, 2004. Half of me denies this is happening. I look up and around and think, this is happening to Jason, my hero. Don't let your mind run wild, because fear shoots fast and far. The world looks entirely different when one's brother is in the ICU. August 6th. A doctor came and asked Jason his name. Jason, he rasped. Do you know where you are? Hospital. Do you know what city you're in? Jason looked at the doctor with a worried expression. August 7th. Jason wanted to hear again what had happened. Again I told him, and he became sad and cried. August 10th. Jason thought Monica was on tour with Joan Baez, and later thought he was at summer camp. I want to hear the music, he said. Isn't there going to be a concert? Where are you, we asked. Music camp, he said. August 19th. A tube draining fluid from Jason's brain was disconnected accidentally, exposing his brain to air for about 2 minutes. He slept all day. He doesn't respond to Jason. Jason. This is the beginning of a major detour. September 4th. Doctors were able at last to do an angiogram. Now we know he had an arteriovenous malformation. September 14th. The doctor said we view Jason's situation as very grave. Yet we all agree that doctors prepare you for the worst. I wonder how it is for Jason, floating in the netherworld, asleep, asleep, asleep. Darkness or dreams. His muscle tone is deteriorating. No matter, that can be corrected. And no matter anything else, after all, he is alive now and not seizing. And for now, it is all we ask for. September 17th, Jason has pneumonia and may have appendicitis. His eyes are open, but he is not responding. September 21st, a nurse saw him move a leg. A nurse saw him move an arm. He moves his mouth a little. He yawns. October 1st, Jason stuck his tongue forward a little. He is responding to the command, blink. He is communicating with eyelids. October 22nd, Jason is out of the ICU and in the respiratory care unit. I never knew gratitude until now. November 11th, a dream last night. Jason was talking, nothing special, just normal. I looked up at him, he was giant. I was incredulous at his human spirit and the ability to endure. Sometimes you have to sign the waiver of assumptions, which reads, I acknowledge that for better or worse, anything can be, and anything can happen. November 21st, Jason was awake and alert today, though not responsive. Trapped inside, paralyzed, patience. Patience. December 19th. It is so disturbing to see my brother curled up in a human knot. The daily steps are small, and with winter's first snowfall outside, it seems harder and harder to push through. December 27th. The world seems cold and frightening in ever surprising ways. In the midst of it, Jason improves. December 28th. Jason's trach hole was plugged and he made ah sounds and said hi. January 13th, 2005. Jason is making amazing progress. Please may he make it to the shore. Today he did. He got across today to tonight. February 11th. We are now at Spaulding Rehabilitation Hospital in Boston. We came up in an ambulance. Jason was wrapped in sweats and also in sheets like a mummy. He met many of his therapists today and wowed us all with his flexibility, strength, and responsiveness. He said hi, baby, to Monica. Seems like a great decision to come here.
There's something about in the beginning, when Jason was first in the hospital, I had this frantic feeling of, I have to tell people not to cancel their gigs. Jason will be out of here in a few weeks. Everything will be fine. And then he wasn't fine, and time kept going and going and going, and he was unconscious for so long. But being in such a survival mode, time felt very different. And I don't know if I can really put that into words. Really, everything seemed like an eternity and a blip all at the same time.
By this point, Jason had reached his lifetime insurance cap of $1 million, so there was no more money for hospital bills. The family had researched long-term acute care facilities and had found Spaulding Rehabilitation Hospital in Boston, which had a great reputation for treating brain injuries. It seemed perfect because Monica's family was in Boston and the baby was due very soon. So they applied for Medicaid in Massachusetts, and Spaulding agreed to admit Jason with the understanding that Medicaid was pending. The staff began videotaping Jason's sessions for training purposes.
Jason, I'll show you over to Amanda. You are being filmed, okay? You can do some work with that. Anything you want to say to the camera? Good morning, hi. Can you get your voice going? Say hi. Louder. Excellent. Louder.
It was now 7 months since Jason's bleed. Monica and Marjorie had moved to Boston. Jason's parents were coming up constantly from New York, his father staying on weekdays and his mother staying on weekends.
Swallow. Whoa,
All right.
Jason, excellent. You did great.
Okay, reach over here. Can you grab my hand?
When Jason was admitted to Spaulding, he was in a vegetative state.
Jason came to us after several months of being down in New York. He was extremely debilitated. He didn't have a lot of voluntary movement. He wasn't responding very well to the environment around him. And for someone who was several months following their stroke, that generally is not a good indicator of what the ultimate recovery is going to be.
I knew that he will have deficits like problem with movement of his limbs, legs and arms. He will have problems speaking. He will have problem expressing his needs. As far as exact prognosis, I wasn't sure, but it did not look good.
The idea of him returning to fully independent functioning, we really didn't hold out much hope for that. That we anticipated that he was going to need permanent care, less than what he needed when he came in, we were hoping, but not at a point where he could really meet a lot of his own basic needs and just even at the level of toileting and being able to feed himself and those kinds of things. We were hoping that at best we could get him to a point where he could be more manageable on the part of his family, but didn't hold out a lot of hope that in terms of the long-term permanent picture that he'd make a really remarkable recovery.
So we think we're going to have a baby pretty soon.
Better have it soon.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I was afraid of everything the doctors told us could happen. They really didn't think he was going to get through this. I think, you know, the mind just jumps from one fear to the next at that point. One thing that was on my mind, though, was that I was sure I would lose the baby due to the stress. Having had 2 really horrible miscarriages prior to that pregnancy, I couldn't imagine that with this going on, that it could possibly be sustained.
All right, you look great sitting. And then show them how you can hold yourself up. All right, hold yourself here. I'm gonna back off.
This is excellent.
Hold yourself up.
And I'm just wondering in this position if you can shake your head better for yes and no. Can you show me a yes head nod, up and down? Are you a musician? Show me yes. Okay. That's real small. I want to show you how I want it to feel, okay? That was a yes nod, but you needed to go like this. Just like that. Not a lot of it. All right, let's try it again.
Nice.
Are you a musician? Very good. Okay. Are you having a baby boy?
So we'll call Jason now, and then she's gonna. Is she calling him now?
No, Monica wants to call Jason first.
Okay.
And,
Before Ellie was born, Monica asked her father to buy a video camera, knowing that Jason wouldn't remember any of this.
I'm gonna try and breastfeed her, but what did Jason say to you on the phone?
Shall I stop?
Yeah.
Half the family was with Jason at Spalding. When Monica called him after the birth, he took the phone and said, "Are you okay? What's she doing?" And, "I love you." Then everyone shook his hand, and he accepted their congratulations with a clear thank you.
Monica, you're a mom.
She's already changed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In what way has she changed?
At first, like, she had such a ridge across here, just like Jason, you know? But now it's softened. And she has a little hair.
Yeah.
See that?
Fuzz.
You see her hair, Mom?
So I think it was the next day, Marjorie and Lynn brought Jason over to the hospital where I was. It was pretty rough.
There you go.
You like that? That's right. She's got nothing.
It was just one of those things where you had to deal with the reality of where Jason was and that this was happening now. I remember thinking it was unbelievable what Monica was doing.
Yay! It's a baby.
It's a beautiful
we had
baby.
a baby.
You know, she was carrying this baby for 9 months, but also carrying the concern about what was going to happen down the road with Jason, and trying to deal with both of those things at the same time. It was amazing, the kind of strength, I guess, that we can come up with when we have to.
I had a C-section, so I was like hooked up to a catheter and stuff, and Ellie was a newborn baby, and Jason was hooked up to catheter. I thought to myself on that day, I thought, well, this is hopefully the only day in history where we will all three be in diapers.
Here she goes.
It was very, very hard to reconcile all the joy and pain in one moment. It was maybe a culmination of this feeling of having to take care of both Jason and the baby.
We said, you know, we're going to be with him from the minute we can get there in the morning until the minute they kick us out at night. And that allowed us, you know, we traded off. You know, I'll come in the morning and you come in the afternoon and you come in the evening. And so what it allowed us to do was stimulate him thousands of times every day. You know, you think of the 5 senses and how can you activate those? How can you stimulate those when this person is lying there? there's no way that nurses can provide that, or therapists or doctors, but a family can. You know, I mean, think about a normal day. It's like you make coffee, you take a shower, you get dressed, you read a book, you read the newspaper, you watch TV, you go to a movie later, you cook. There's so many different elements to a day. Then imagine that you've been in this void for months. You've been in a hospital room. You're immobilized. You can't communicate. You don't really know why you're here. You're sort of out of it because of the medication that you're on. You know, you would just start to get detached. And for me, I just kept imagining if I was in Jason's shoes, what would engage me? I mean, that was the main thing, like what will engage him? What smoke signal can we send up to him that's like, you know, we're here and we need you and you've got to come back to us.
I think it's sort of a hard reach. Okay, Jason, I want you to grab the blue one, okay? Can you give me the blue beanbag?
Long way up. Go.
Nice. Okay, grab the purple one. Okay. Now I want you to grab a yellow one. Grab the yellow one on the far right. Grab the yellow one on the right.
Ready? Go.
Here's the left, and then here's the right. Can you grab the yellow one on the right? All right, how about just grab a yellow one? Taking a break. You're almost finished, okay?
I always felt like he was in there. I guess I felt like his personality was always there, that his soul was always there, and that he was simply unable physically and cognitively to a point, but he was unable physically to be himself. I mean, he didn't smile, he didn't speak for a long time, he didn't eat, he didn't clap his hands, he didn't do any physical manifestations of expression. But it was during that time that we would, almost every day, we would see some little indications that things were getting better. He would sit up, he would slowly sit up in bed. Or they'd be working him on the walk-in and he would take his own step without assistance. Or he would raise an arm. Or he would put his glasses on and the hand would be shaking, you know, and the glasses would be going like that, but he would do it. The first time he did it, it would be very exciting, and you could see that he was trying to do this. And it always showed me that he was really in there.
Go. Put it on.
I think scientifically, Jason wasn't there. The centers of the brain, the parts of the brain, the higher cortical areas that we generally associate with personality and that sense of the person simply weren't online. They were not firing. So where was he? We don't really have a good concept of that.
You know, in the middle of all of this, when Jason was at Spalding, somebody gave Monica a DVD that was home movies of Jason. It wasn't very many. And so she gave it to me, and I sat down to watch it thinking, oh, this is gonna make me so sad, but I have to do it anyway. And I wasn't sad at all. I watched this DVD and I thought, I don't feel like that guy is so far away. I feel like he's there. I cannot tell you why, but I feel everybody in my family would agree with this. I always felt like he was there. It just was a question of giving him back the ability, helping him regain the ability of being himself.
I think when you're forced to see things, forced to examine and look at things that you didn't want to look at before or didn't have the opportunity to look at before, you're given the opportunity to see the beauty in it. And you can't help but love more in that instant. When you see the beauty in sadness and in hardship. I'm not trying to romanticize it, but I really mean that.
Dr. Che, this is his best moment. Go ahead, put that up there. Go ahead, Jason.
On top of the pole.
All the way up.
You know, they sort of put out this
Way up.
Like seeing Jason get the cone, one cone on top of another. I mean, those moments were miraculous to us because we had the perspective. We had a perspective we had never had before. And that triumph was beautiful.
When he was working in therapy at Spalding once, Marjorie was watching him. They were walking him down the hall slowly, and Jason's primary doctor there, Dr. Che, came up and was standing behind Marjorie, and he said, he observed Jason for a while, and they said, he's breaking through.
At the hospital, there was a special room where family members could gather and spend time together and have it feel more like a home than a hospital room.
In April, we had my birthday party there, and my present was to open the door to that room and open the door to Jason standing on his own 2 feet. That was incredible.
So where do you want to sit?
But a few weeks later, Jason had a major setback, another infection in his brain. He was transferred to the neuro ICU at Mass General Hospital and spent 3 weeks there before returning to Spalding and starting all over again. But soon he was on his feet once more, though just barely. The doctors were doubtful that his recovery would progress much further, and if they couldn't promise more progress and thus justify more care, then Medicaid wouldn't provide more money. So it was recommended to the family that Jason enter a step-down facility.
And I was trying to picture a life of taking Ellie to visit her father in the nursing home every day, and trying to picture the different levels of awareness he might have and different levels of ability he might have over time. And I had to really try on that scene, you know, is this going to be what life looks like for us?
And we went to see it. The family went to check one of these places out, the most highly recommended one. Basically, there was something that was a little depressing about it. There was a stagnant element to it. We felt that if Jason went there, he would just sort of level out and that would be it. I mean, it just was not, it wasn't stimulating.
So we had a meeting with Dr. Carter and we said, we're not going to have him go to a nursing home, we're going to bring him home. And Dr. Carter looked very grave and said, do you realize that this means 24 hours a day of attention to him? And we said yes, we were ready to do this.
Before Jason's injury, he was one of the most sought-after guitarists in New York City.
After he got sick, I know everyone was thinking about him and praying for him and hoping, he would be better. But also musically, it was definitely, there was a big hole in the community.
It was a real absence, and not just like a spiritual one. It was like the entire kind of topography of the music scene, at least what was happening in the Lower East Side, with that group of people changed pretty drastically. He
He was and is, sort of the go-to guy in New York, you know, for a certain type of music, you know, singer-songwriters. So there was a huge gap, you know, and he was also, you know, he's also just well loved, you know, he was always, you know, he's always sort of enthusiastic and ready to play, and so, you know, all over New York, specifically in a few clubs, you know, like at the Living Room, it was like Jason was, you know, was there probably there 5 nights a week, and then he wasn't.
Yeah, right away it was a big loss for me, personally and creatively. It was insane, you know, really, just a young fella, real health conscious. It still doesn't make any sense, does it?
We continued to play without him, but it was really, really painful, I gotta say. I mean, not only because of the you know, his musical contributions that weren't there, but you know, just emotionally. I remember the first gig we did without him. It almost felt like you know, like we had lost a family member, like a funeral in some way. It was really sad.
It was quite soon after Jason fell ill that I spoke to Monica about doing a benefit. And the first concert was, we raised $15,000 for them. Then Monica realized that it was an ongoing thing and we wanted to do something more. And we asked Nora, we invited her to play at the benefit at Irving Plaza in New York.
It was a really, really great show, and it was fun, and it felt really good to be able to do something, even if it was small.
At the second benefit concert, $48,000 was raised for Jason and Monica.
The way people showed up for that, I mean, financially, yes, it was incredible. But the way people showed up and wanted to participate and wanted to be there, I felt like Jason would be, you know, being the humblest person in the world. He wouldn't believe it, but he would have to see how much people loved and appreciated him.
Hi, Jay.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
What are you doing?
Hanging out.
Oh. Hello. What are you doing?
On August 11th, 2005, 1 year and 1 week after his hemorrhage, Jason came home from the hospital to a new apartment in Boston.
I'm hanging out too.
Me too.
At this point, Jason couldn't walk on his own.
He was very weak. He was thin.
He was wearing a catheter.
He needed to be bathed.
Had just started eating again.
He didn't have very much hair from the last surgery.
Couldn't smile, and sometimes couldn't even close his mouth.
Jason had a problem with a huge amount of shaking during the middle of the night.
He would seize up like this. And
Les Lynn would sleep with him, curled around him kind of cocoon-like so we could feel when he started shaking.
To help calm him down.
We would wake up and hold him and tell him where he was.
We spent a number of nights together like that.
In addition to caring for Jason and the new baby, Monica was working a full-time job.
And I think it was logistically just all very challenging, and then emotionally almost impossible. But then again, there was just no way through it but through it.
We talked through and then worked out what our almost school schedule was going to be with him.
We just decided we'll do whatever it is we have to do.
Physical therapy.
Exercises that he was to do on a daily basis.
Reading to him.
We were helping him get around, helping him eat, helping him bathe.
We raided the game store.
Like constantly trying to stimulate his mind.
And anything that would encourage him cognitively.
Hey, Jay. Jay, I'm filming. Yeah.
Cool.
He didn't initiate his needs.
Initiation was everything. Everything can be measured by how much Jason was initiating. You can have your fork in your hand, but the arm needs to get initiated to move the fork to the mouth. You could push the elbow and get Jason to eat something. That was at the beginning, but I think maybe a month or two later, he was doing it himself.
We really busted our asses to get him out in the world again and to show him, like, okay, this might take a lot of effort to get out there, but we're going to make that effort.
Jay. How's it going?
Good.
What's happening?
Not much.
I'm filming you.
Hey.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
For a long time after he came home and after other things seemed to be falling into place, he was moving around more on his own. He was going up to the corner and getting the newspaper in the morning. He was making his own meals. He was doing things on his own. There was a period of time when he did not touch the guitar. Finally, one day, I remember, he picked up a guitar and he started working on a simple little pattern of dee-da-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da. It was 4 or 5 notes over and over, and I could tell that one note, one finger was not really laying in there the way he wanted it to. And he must have sat there for 45 minutes or an hour just going over this one little pattern, trying to get that right. I'll never forget that.
It was really exciting because you could see that there was music coming through him, and as simple as it was as deep as anything, you know. Being a guitar player for so long and also being a guitar teacher, he knew that you need to play something well before you move on to the next thing. So he was pretty methodical about it. You know, it was almost like he was teaching himself as he would teach someone else.
My prior life seems like this hazy dream space. I remember the things I did, I remember the people I saw or places I went, but it seems like this other alternate universe or something seems completely removed from my life now. Like my life really began a year ago in a lot of ways, like when I kind of started regaining my memory and my consciousness and my awareness. I feel like that's when I started my life somehow. That's kind of how it feels in a weird way. I guess it just kind of made me a little depressed that I lost 1.5 years of my life, really. I guess more, really, because it's been all the recovery. So it's made me feel like time is slipping away in a way. Well, there's Ritalin, there's Zoloft, there's a bunch of vitamins. Well, Zoloft is for depression. The Ritalin was just for energy, I think, mostly.
When he started to get better, when the shift became not just the day-to-day walking, eating, writing, putting your glasses on, getting dressed and so forth, and it began to shift to, okay, now I can do those things. Now what about playing the guitar, playing music, networking with people, getting back into the music scene, making a living and so forth. Then he got very frustrated and depressed. And we had been warned, or we'd been told by a number of therapists and doctors that this would happen and that this is actually a good sign. What it meant was that he was becoming aware of his shortcomings. So in a sense, it was good that he started to get depressed about it.
But amidst the depression, there were many firsts happening, like Jason holding Ellie for the first time and babysitting her alone.
Hi guys.
Hi, here we are.
How's it going?
Going all right. Hi, baby Ellie.
Baby Ellie, this is your first time uppy with Daddy in the Celtic.
First time uppy with Daddy.
You got your cracker? Say, how does it feel?
Feels all right. I'm doing the thing.
You're doing it. Yay, let's go. Ready?
All right.
Okay, let's go.
Bye-bye.
And then a call from Teddy Thompson, asking Jason to join him on stage for one song at a concert at a big club in Boston.
It was more of trying to help him along and offer a friend, you know, a chance to play again and just get him that next step in the recovery. But I also knew it wasn't going to be a train wreck or anything, you know. I sort of how to say this? Yeah, I knew that he had the right, you know, he's always had the right approach to music anyway. So, you know, if it was hard for him to play, then he probably wouldn't play. You know what I mean? I mean, he just kind of, I thought he would do the right thing.
That was kind of a turning point, I think, that gig with Teddy Thompson. You know, he played beautifully that night, but it was very, very simple, and it was a beautiful ballad. And I think it was after that he started playing every day again and realizing that he could play.
Then someone else asked him to play, and he came and went and he did a whole set of songs, one set of songs. And again, it was he wiped him out.
Jason was still seeing double, and had been since he regained consciousness. His life was still centered around rehabilitation. He had suffered nerve damage from lying in hospital beds for so long, and his hands were still unfolding from the tightness caused by the brain's reaction to the bleed.
Hi, baby Ellie. Daddy's putting his brace on. It's part of what Daddy does. Daddy's routine.
Only a handful of friends had seen or heard from Jason since the night of his hemorrhage. Others kept tabs on his progress through the occasional updates from his family. On his 36th birthday, Jason came down from Boston to play his first concert in New York since his injury. Everyone heard he was coming, so everyone came.
How's it being back in the city?
It's okay. It's kind of loud here.
It's so great to see you.
How are you?
Oh, great. How are you?
I'm okay.
We're very happy to see you playing again.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be back playing.
Full table here?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You do? Okay. This is so exciting.
Unbelievable. I think I'm okay. Yeah, that's cool. All right.
Jason told me that in the first few shows he'd played since his recovery, he'd felt emotionally detached from the music, and therefore wasn't really enjoying playing. Monica assured him that this disconnect was a physical result of the brain injury, and that like everything else, it would improve with time. But by this stage of his recovery, I was skeptical. For months, it seemed that Jason had been speaking with such slight and subdued gestures that only his family could recognize his prior self beneath his new, rather inexpressive exterior. We, his old friends and fans, weren't versed in such subtle language. But we knew his sound, and as he began to play, something exceptional and quite indescribable occurred. The old Jason materialized, not visibly, but audibly, and there in his melodies was Jason, undiminished and undefeated, and reclaiming his domain. And all at once, I think, the audience smiled, now convinced, as Jason's family had been for months, that indeed he was in there, gradually emerging, as if from behind clouds that were still breaking.
Thanks a lot.
Hey,
congratulations.
Thanks,
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to
Nice
do that.
set.
We did it. We did the gig.
You sound even better than you did 2 years ago.
How can I be?
I don't know.
That was cool. Robbie, you sounded great.
We did it. So did you, man.
We did the gig.
We did the gig. I gotta tell you, this is my favorite song on your album.
Oh, you like it?
I played this to death.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jason, it's so good to have you playing here again. I can't tell you.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Not bad.
It's the first gig I played that I feel really good doing.
Yeah, well, Dennis's gig, I heard you were sounding great on it.
I think I played okay, but I wasn't really feeling it. I've had trouble connecting.
Because why? Sound or just you just weren't there yet?
Myself, like,
yeah. And this one was better.
Yeah, I felt really connected to this.
Way more than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I was so like your time, your rhythm is perfect. It's great. It's exactly where that's if I was imagining what would be difficult, that's what I would think would be difficult. But it's so good. I'm so impressed.
That's amazing.
You look great.
You look great.
Oh, well,
it's
thanks.
so great to see you.
You do all of our hearts good. It's so good to
That's
see you.
cool.
You sound great.
Oh,
you sound
good.
fantastic. You look great.
Oh, that's great.
It's so wonderful to see you.
How'd you feel up there?
I felt really good.
You were terrific.
Oh, thank you.
I loved hearing you.
Thank you.
that gig? You okay?
Oh, that's just the best news ever.
Yes? I had a really good time. Hi, baby.
Oh, honey. Welcome back.
I love you, baby.
I love you so much.
It's good. It's a good night.
This is like total overwhelming craziness,
it's craziness
right now.
There's a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time.
Yep. You're out.
It's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Out of the asylum. It's crazy. What a crazy thing.
It's an unbelievably crazy.
Yeah,
I can't even.
it
I
is.
mean, it's just like a vortex. I can't even
It is.
imagine it.
I know, it is. It is like a vortex.
I've been to many, many concerts in New York City, and I'd never seen so many artists so happy all at the same time.
God, how are you?
They just keep moving because they just want everybody off
right.
out of the way.
My stuff.
Cops
Okay.
came and said too many people on the sidewalk.
All right.
You've caused a pandemonium, Jay.
Service I had to get my service. Stop. They did finally sign the papers, though. So I guess one of these days it'll get filed in this link.
There you go, because you can make it.
Anyway, outside of that, well, we'll keep plugging on it all, and things will happen.
Oh, I made it.
I'm glad you can laugh about that.
Yeah.
So, think about what's been done. We got Jason at about 98.9% normal. Monica, Ellie, and Jason are a family. They're living together in their own place. They got money coming in. Ellie has this huge extended family around her.
Right.
Everybody's taking care of her and loving her, and she's really benefiting from it. And all the rest of us are starting to get back to our regular lives.
Yeah.
I call it victory.
Yeah, it's so incredible to be here now and think of those dark times. And I mean, I just can remember being like, where will we be in a year, or will we ever get out of this? And then, but then at the same time, you pull yourself back and you say you have to just focus on today.
Yeah.
Can't, because you just have no idea. But to be here now is kind of a trip.
Marjorie had decided to move to California. This signified a kind of closure to the family's deep participation in Jason's recovery. So the extended family, consisting of Jason and Monica's parents and step-parents, gathered together to wish Marjorie well and to reflect on the last 2 years. Everyone came with something to say.
Okay, my part I wrote out. And I really did just shoot out any memory that I could think of as I went along. So, Jason, remember when you and I and Pablo were at Angora? And it was so quiet and peaceful and lazy and relaxed, and we took just about everything in the world for granted. And you told me that you and Mon were expecting. Then there's a long time where I can't say remember when because you don't remember. But I say that even though they tend to merge together, I remember every time that you made progress. I was thrilled, elated, joyous, and immediately reaching for my phone to let everybody else know. And Mon, you are the best love story I've ever heard of in my whole life. I think I'll give up reading fiction because nothing could compare with your love for Jason and for Ellie and all the love and support you've given to all of us. I remember all the times you bolstered my spirits, and remember when you could tell us that Jason could finally say that he loves you.
I personally got a new sense of what faith, or maybe the word is conviction, but what faith is. And I realized that it goes far beyond hope. I don't remember thinking I hope Jason gets well. I remember thinking, Jason will get well.
Right.
And it's a strange mental process because it's hard to verbalize, because I felt like, and I still feel like this, but I felt like whenever anything negative was presented, whether it was a dire prediction or he won't do this or he's not going to come through that, whatever, if it were a negative thing and it just was not acceptable, and there's a way that we've seemed to take that negative thing and put it in a compartment. And the reason it's hard to verbalize is that you don't want to be naive, you want to be realistic. And when doctors are presenting worst case scenarios, you don't want to just dismiss it, because they are doctors and they may know something. Maybe not, but they probably do. It's almost across that bridge when I come to it kind of thing. But overriding it all was the sheer conviction that you would come through this, you would come back, you would be yourself.
Right.
The other thing is that this whole family became like a well-oiled machine, that everybody found a niche. Some of us were able to do some things better than others, and everybody, it just sort of, I mean, we had our rough times, we had our misunderstandings, we had our tempers flare occasionally, but it seemed to evolve into some kind of a well-oiled machine.
Wow. I just want to say again, I'm really so moved and touched by everyone here and all that you guys have done for me in every way. I feel like it's pretty amazing and overwhelming. And it's pretty amazing that all this stuff happened and I wasn't even aware that it was happening, and you guys stuck up for me and looked after me the whole time. It's just really cool. And I feel extremely happy and grateful about that. Hi, baby Ellie.
Well, this just was really kind of intense tonight, but also, just the whole experience. I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful. And, like other people have said, I'm just so proud to be part of this family. And when I think of memories of the last 2 years, I think of people that we crossed paths with who didn't have anybody. And I appreciate what we have here very, very much.
Our job is not done, and a lot of, I think the next years and chapters will in some way or another be dedicated to helping the next families.
Yeah.
We're having this happily ever after moment, but it doesn't end for us here. You're not feeling entirely yourself, and it's going to take time, and we've got work to do, but basically we are at the happily ever after point.
Right.
And I never want to lose sight of all those in need of support.
That's true. I'm into that.
So that's what I have to say.
Before Jason's hemorrhage, he was halfway through the making of a new album on which a different singer was to sing each of his songs. Needless to say, the project was shelved. But recently, Jason had finished the record and had decided to perform it live in Manhattan. The concert was to be the New York celebration of his recovery, his music, his friends, and all the support he'd received along the way. The show, which sold out immediately, included performances by Martha Wainwright, Marshall Crenshaw, Ola Bell, Teddy Thompson, and so many others.
Teddy Thompson, you guys. There he goes.
So we have one more act this evening, but before they come on, I wanted to say a couple things. First of all, thank you guys for coming. It's cool. You know, I've said this before, but I really mean it this time. You guys are the real stars here. I guess everybody here is familiar with my whole situation, what happened to me, but just in brief. In August of 2004, I was playing a show at a club not far from here, and after like the second or third song, I had these strange sensations, sounds and lights and weird things going on, and it got so out there that I had to leave the stage and grab Monica, who luckily was there, and ran out in the street, and I was whisked away in an ambulance, and that's the last thing I remember for a year and a half. You know, I had a brain injury, an AVM, technically speaking. It was quite an experience. You know, I met a lot of doctors along the way, obviously, and you know, there were a bunch who had kind of negative outlooks on my prognosis. A few said I would die initially, and then they said I wouldn't walk again, and then they said I wouldn't play guitar again. And luckily, I've proved them all wrong so far. But you know, thank you guys. That's cool. Thank you. That's cool.
So why do you think Jason pulled through?
First of all, because he wasn't and isn't finished here on this earth at this time. He's not done doing what he's here to do. That's the main reason.
He survived because this happened in the United States of America, in New York City, and then in Boston. And there are fantastic doctors and medical care in this part of the world.
The piece that was really the most telling is Jason's family. I mean, he would not have made it without them. He would have ended up in a nursing home with much less quality of life, with a much lower level of recovery. And they saved him. If it hadn't been for them, he wouldn't be where he is.
I get this feeling sometimes where I just feel very alone on my path, you know, like I feel like I'm completely alone. Does anybody feel that way ever? Yeah. You guys do, yeah?
Sort of.
Jason was invited to speak and perform at a school for kids with brain injuries.
Other people I can talk to, but ultimately at the end of the day I just feel like I'm on this very solitary journey of trying to deal with this thing. And sometimes it's very overwhelming, you know. It's really intense, you know. I don't know if you guys experience this, but I get really down sometimes about it. You know, like it really is sad to me that I missed so much time, and a lot of important things happened while I was out of it, and I missed them, and I'll always be kind of sad about that, but I just try and stay focused on the positive things as much as I can, and just stay focused on being here and doing what I can here, and recovering as much as I can, you know. Anybody have any questions?
I'm interested also in the arts, and I'm wondering, like, basically, how have the arts helped you express you know, tough times and good times as well?
It's really sort of the way that I feel like I express myself the best, you know. It's the way that I tap into my feelings and my emotions and say what I want to say. And this one I wrote specifically about my illness and recovery and stuff, so in light of our discussion, it might be cool for you to check it out one more time, maybe. So.
the books on the shelf, some straight up and down, blankets of dust, finger but left untouched, finger but left untouched. Picturing positives, I think that works. Just the opposite of carrying stones to church, carrying stones to church. I lost my voice in the forest. I fell down on my knees, tried to make a sound. My body on a tightrope made of light. Where is the earth today? What if I fall today? On the shelf, unraveling pages, the poem I wrote, stuffed in the cracks and the laughs, stuffed in the cracks and the laughs, stuffed in the cracks and the laughs. Stuffed in the cracks and laughs. Thanks, you guys.
I think deep down at the bottom of the whole thing is like, I truly believe in myself. I believe in my ability to do good things on this earth and be a good person to people and be a good husband, be a good father, be a good musician, be a good friend. Like I believe in those things. And I think that belief gives me a sort of, I don't know, focus or energy or something. But I don't think that belief just comes out of thin air.
I'll send some back your way. Get me through tomorrow, through the day. Just wanna be there to help you find your way. Get me through tomorrow, through the day. To the way I talk about you, try to picture me without you. Oh no, oh no. So if everybody worries over what they say can only go wrong, so everybody worries and then everybody doesn't belong. So whisper secrets and I'll send some back your way. Get me through tomorrow, through the day. Just hold me closer and tell me it's okay.